still working on the tower, and there's a silencer top far away from the fight. Actually kind of cute because he's split pushing, and if they try to go a mid lane, he'll get off that global. But we'll see if Orange look to back after this. The tier 2 mid falls, and Orange Esports, their territory extends even farther. You can just look at the Fog of War. They see a good 2/3 of the map. Tong Fu, maybe a third.
Yeah, again, Orange does not need to do anything special. They just have to tighten up their gameplay, make sure they keep on their farming, whether it's on their own jungle, make sure you farm the enemy jungle as well as a team. I mean, it's very difficult if you farm as 4 or 5 to be picked off. The big concern here for Tongfu right now is even if they have the big initiation, which they do, we keep pointing out, they have a Clockwork, they have a Life Stealer Infest Bomb, they have a Storm Spirit. The big problem is they don't kill anybody fast enough. I mean, you could jump on, let's say, like a Bane Elemental and try to work on him, and maybe you get the kill, but by the time that you get the Bane kill, everybody's already here, and you're going to lose 4 for a Bane, and that's never a good choice. So I'm not sure what Tongfu can do right now.
I think just split pushing and avoiding fights, and that's what they are trying to do, and we've seen that from them. The big question is going to be, once that Roshan number 2 is up and Orange force it, can Tongfu split push fast enough to deal with Orange's 5-man, or can they fight at that stage? I don't think they split push that quickly, to be honest. Storm's a decent split pusher. Lifesteal is a bit slow. And then you look at how quickly Orange can push, with Mushi having God Strength, and now working towards his first damage item. It will be an Assault Cuirass. Plate mail up. I think Orange are going to be able to force a 5v5, and Tongfu are going to have to contest it.
Yeah, I really like the choice on Assault Cuirass in the sense that it really helps you break the base. In conjunction with your Warcry, you're working with
18 plus 16 plus another 5. It's a lot of armor.
I mean, I'm supposed to be good at math, but yeah, LD, you could take that one. Thank you.
And even more for the Sven as well.
The big thing, I'm actually kind of surprised. If we look at Hao's item choice, he's got the Sage, and I was predicting a Heaven's Halberd because it's a good way to shut down Sven. He's actually going for a kind of Racer build. It's just a build that's like we've seen players like Zoe, YYF, Era in the Western scene to gone from the past. But when you're dealing with the Sven, I mean, do you expect the team fight to go long? I mean, if you win the team fight, SNY is great. It helps you chase down more heroes, but in the position where they're losing all these team fights, I'm just not sure what this item will do for him.
It's not like the best man fight build, right? Because Sange and Yasha gives you a lot of little things. Yeah. Attack speed, some move speed, the ability to slow the Sven down a little bit. The Sange proc could be pretty big here, but Heaven's Halberd is nice, but then again, Sven is a BKB carry, so you can quickly remove that disarm. Mushi's BKB still very healthy at 10 seconds. I guess it's something now, right? Because Tongfu is to me, it seems like they know Orange after this Roche are going to fight. And if you go for a big item, by the time you get it, Orange might already be at your base and killing your base.
Yeah. Well, actually, again, if you look at the top, it's split push. It's very, very odd hero to split push with.
It's very cheeky.
Yeah. I mean, like
it's slow.
If they jump on Shang right now and if he dies, you're like, we lost a silencer. Like he could buy back for like 400 or 500, and it's okay. And in fact, if you make 1 or 2 hero to kill Shang, you don't know where that storm is. You don't really know where there's a life stealer inside. So this is cheeky, but this is also very, very effective.
And Tongfu, obviously, these guys are in a match that decides 3rd and 4th place, and maybe who ends up going on and winning the tournament. Of course, that looks like a long shot the way Alliance is playing, but they know Roche is up. They're choosing not to contest it. They're pushing top instead. The tier 2, though, there is a glyph available, and I think Orange can take Roche and defend if they so please. But will they? Aegis to Mushi, and now the glyph is up. Are they going to TP in? Here we go. Sven in the front line. Tongfu on the run. There's a blink, a silence as well, and a coil. Banana melts, and they take Roche. They get a kill, and they defend their tier 2.
Yeah, tier 2 is going to get denied as well. So Orange Esports got everything. They got the Roshan, they got a kill on the support Nyx Assassin.
And the tower.
Yeah, and tower denied. I mean, support Nyx Assassin was about to get a Blink Dagger. He was up to a decent amount of gold. That could have been pretty effective against a Fiend's Group that's been channeling, against Ohio, who is really a big part of this initiation. So that's a pretty decent pickoff.
Yeah, and even against a hero like a Puck, because you blink in, you carapace, the natural reaction is when a Nyx jumps on you, you're probably going to try to silence him, and all of a sudden you can get stunned.
Yeah.
So, and right now, RNG Sports, I think there may be that one big item from Mushi away from forcing these tier 2s. Assault Cuirass actually now available, being delivered on the courier. That's a 30-minute AC, treads, BKB, and as well as drums on a Sven who's been pushing and fighting with his team all game long. Mushi CS not that big. This is a different kind of Mushi. We know Mushi for loving to farm. Normally, we know him as a snowball player, but he's very much a team player in this game, and it seems to be paying off. RNG Sports, a few more check marks on their to-do list, but there's still more work ahead. They need to take the tier 2s, and at some point they'll have to break the base. Tongfu, great counter initiation team, hanging on, continuing to farm gold and experience pretty heavily in Orange's favor, but I don't feel it's quite at critical mass just yet.
Well, it depends.
It's getting close.
Yeah, it's getting close. I mean, Mushi, all he has to do, and of course AC is just a great item choice, he's going to just walk up the high ground and start hitting it. We talked about Orange lacking really a real way to beat down the base or break down the high ground. They don't really need to do it anymore because they have the Aegis, because of the AC. They could just slow siege it, but there's nobody here to defend at all.
A TP will come in. Now Tong Fu, they realize that they've got to force something. At least hold on. The tower dropping quickly. No God Strength up. No BKB yet used. Mushi will clear out an illusion. He's not scared. We saw him do this with Ursa. Whack the tower. Daring his opponents to go on him. Tong Fu, very reluctant to engage, but they'll impale him now. He could be sent back. Nothing yet. Slowed up as well. Are they going to zip and clear off the Sages? Surged away. And he will live. Do they send him home? Looks like Orange may just back off.
Yeah, it's good amount of damage done on the tier 3 tower. Look at that. If they do that one more time, that tower's dead. So we're going to send him back, TP him back, and...
yeah, that's perfect for them. They didn't lose anything. They didn't blow the Aegis. They didn't waste a BKB charge. No Hand of God, for that matter. And they did a ton of damage. Glyph wasn't forced out for Tong Fu. That's nice for them, but like you said, if Orange do it again, Tong Fu are going to have to fight.
Yeah, Mushi even bet a Sao and use it in the fountain. He just want to get back out here as soon as possible. He's going to TP to mid lane and just push out that wave to make sure that they don't have any pressure going on in that direction either. So Mushi joining his team back up top. And here you go, Tong Fu. Like, how are you going to defend this? There is a Glyph that's still available, but aside from that,
3 minutes to go on that Aegis, and RNG Sports grouping up again top. 5 heroes up. There is a Dark Troll Warlord here, and that can be actually 2, and that can really shut down this Lifestealer in the team fights. That Ensnare does go through his rage. Let's see how good Extinct's Micro's been. Hell, it's been good. Let's see if it stays good. Here comes Mushi in the front lines. And now RNG Sports, they'll start banging on the front door again. Mushi, not yet committing. Looks like they'll wait for one more wave and then go in. No, he'll hit the creeps a few times. Still Banana, looking for an Impale. They do use a lot of nukes on it. Mushi dropping pretty fast. The last word doing decent damage. Now a Warcry forced out, and now we'll go back in. He's at half HP. There's a back and a blink in, but Hao not really caught. Remember, there's some troll traps here. Ooh. BKB from Mushi. Now it's done. Rage dodged by Hao. He's sent home. Global. A global.
Oh, Clockwork Cook here to kind of cancel a couple TPs. All misses. They are going to go for a couple Chen creeps. We do have just good disengage coming out from Orange Esports.
Oh, zip in, but KYXY dodging away. Mu low on mana. I don't think he's going to catch him.
No.
It looked kind of bad for Orange, and then Global Silence was blown by Sang Sheng.
I mean,
so in the end, with Global down, Orange are going to come right back, and there won't be a Global.
I mean, at the same time, both teams used quite a bit, right? The BKB was used on Mushi's.
But they want to play now. Blake, silence on Mu, stunned as well. Mu is dead. Mushi popping his own. 2 to fall in a matter of seconds. RNG Sports battering through the middle lane, clearing out the creeps. Actually backing off. There was a buyback on the Storm, so they'll play it safe and they'll retreat out.
Yeah, without BKB on Mushi, they respect the jumping power of Tong Fu. So you just back off, you wait 25, 30 seconds, and you go back it again. I mean, Global is down. A lot of spells are down, and of course now buyback down.
And if that Storm dies again, that might be 2 lanes of Rex, because Mushi is going to clear off these Rex pretty quickly. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't have God Strength for this push. He's not as strong as he was, but he's got 2 lives to work with. He'll have a BKB by the time the Sages falls. Open wounds up, impaled as well. There's an Enfeeble on Hao. Barely even scratchy Mushi. Now gripped. Now Mushi's starting to go to work. A blink. A back as well. They're on the run. Mushi, no kills yet. He says, let's focus. Back on the tower. Tier 3 to fall. Glyph still available. Everyone in Tong Fu alive. Remember, no Global here. Hao popping back out. Mushi ignoring him. He's actually disarmed for now. He's on the run. Can't hit anything. Hook in on net. Held in position. Ghost Scepter's there, but it won't save him. Mushi with the stun. Standing strong. He will fall. However, Storm's low. KYXY can't quite kill him off. Mushi, here comes round 2. He's almost got his ult up. The towers, the racks in jeopardy. The tier 3, the racks in the top lane could be falling very soon. Hao trying to hang on. Sitting in the front lines. Button, they've got to go now. Zip it on Mushi. He's got a BKB. Are they going to send him home? Hand of God's there. BKB's out. He is sent back. The ult wasted. RNG Sports unable to break Tong Fu yet. Will be driven back, but the racks are down.
KYXY trying to go to right side. Dream Call into 2. He's man fighting against 2 heroes. The zip, the dodge. He's going to get one kill. He's looking for a second. My goodness. These plays from KYXY.
And King J just too slow on the cogs. Could not stop the TP. Mushi, though, they didn't get the racks yet, but I mean, look how low it is. And the Glyph was used. The Aegis will be down, but I think if you're Orange, you wait for the next Aegis and you go, because it's not like Tong Fu's farming during this time.
You need to wait for the next Aegis. You just go, right? Storm is dead for 30 seconds.
That's true, but Global's back up now. I think that's just the much safer play, because you get the next Aegis, then you go again. Mushi will have his next item, probably 3k gold up on him. And at that point, I mean, he can right-click anyone. This Lifestealer, as good as he normally is against other strength carries, is having trouble putting up with the physical damage that Mushi's dishing out.
So,
And everyone else obviously can't stand against him.
I mean, that goes back to the near 40 armor that Mushi's carrying. Like, the Lifestealer Feast, nice joke, because Mushi just doesn't care.
Yeah, Feast actually does physical damage. It's based on the percentage of your HP, but it is reduced by armor. So Hao not hurting as much as he normally would. It's not that Tongfu are totally out of it, though. Moo's slowly working towards a BKB, which is a pretty big item in this game. It doesn't help against Bane, but against everything else, it will keep him alive a bit longer. King J, he has had a Ghost Scepter up. Looks like he's going for a Heaven's Halberd. That disarm will be really nice against Mushi once the BKB loses charges. Speaking of Mushi, Talisman of Evasion up. Is he building? Normally, we'd look at this and say it's probably a Heaven's Halberd. Is that what you think?
Butterfly is also pretty good. I mean, I think the evasion component is just what he needs. He's going to just walk in, tank up everything. If he dies, he dies. I mean, that's fine. There's so much damage on that Rax that they're going to just get it. And I think that if Tongsu's down 1 Rax, they don't have that kind of lineup, and more importantly, they don't have that kind of late game to really kind of angle this game back.
Yeah, and Orange have more items. I mean, we've been talking a lot about the carries items. The supports have quite a bit of items, too. There's now a Scythe up on KYXY, and Ohio close to his as well. Actually, 300 gold off. I mean, he's so close to it. It really feels strange not to wait for it. But Orange are just very confident they can end the game now, or at least take a Rax now, and then take Roche and look to end it. Roche to respawn in 2 minutes' time. Orange losing this fight would really hurt them, but they do have a crushing and commanding advantage in terms of gold, experience, items, and position. Here they go. Once more. No, they'll back off. Pushing in the top lane. Now immediately TPing back towards mid and bottom. Now, if you do want to just go Roche, you can push the top lane, and then when Tongfu goes to defend, you immediately go into Roche. Right. And it will drop fast.
I mean, I think Orange is actually playing overly safe. Maybe the big stage has made them calm down a little bit, because one thing that Orange can do is pop your BKB, pop your ultimate, and just walk into it and take the Rax, because what is actually going to stop you? Aside from a Cog, which you could definitely kind of walk around and go around, there's nothing else. There's no glyph available either, so they're not making that play yet, which... And of course, you're not going to die because you have the Chen Sen back, so...
I don't think there's a big timer. I mean, Tongfu have, I think, slightly better late game if they have the items, but they don't nearly have the items. You just look at the net worth chart, and Hao's keeping up, but then it's a pretty quick fall off. This Storm Spirit, Moo's going BKB Orchid. That's not really the best late game Storm build. It's more of a mid game oriented build. The Orchid isn't particularly effective against Orange. I think it's safe, and it's surprising to see Orange play so defensively, but I do think it's the right play. And if they get this next Roche, Tongfu are going to have a really hard time stopping the push.
Mushi has an Invis Rune, and he wants to solo like 3 or 4. He has nobody nearby, but...
2.4k gold up, by the way, so he's getting close to something big if he wants.
He's just scouting people out. There's also triple Cypher Vice up now on Orange Esports. You have one on Ohio, you have one on the Puck, and Chen, of course, he's 2 gold away from his... So there you go, triple Scythe.
Well, 600 gold
600 away.
But he's close.
Yeah.
You get this Roche, and that's triple Scythe. And they're running a one DPS lineup. They only have one here that really dishes out the physical damage, but they've got 3 Scythes, which means their lineup really goes late. And frankly, even Lifestealer. Oh, Mushi, DD Rune. Here we go. Hao's got to be careful. Mushi looking for a stun. Blink, Scythe to start. They've caught Hao, but Tongfu are ready. They're all grouped up. They will back off. With this DD, Roche is just going to melt.
Okay, there's a BKB on Stormsphere, which...
Big item. He can still be gripped by Net. Keep an eye on Net, because his positioning has won them quite a few games.
Banana.
Let's see if he gets caught, though. Ohio, Scythe on Banana. They get the jump. They stun him as well. Nyx to fall soon. Mushi hooked, held in the cogs, isolated while they work on Net, who's low, but not dead yet. Gripping from low to high ground, on to Hao. Hao's going to fall. Moo, out of mana. Extinct, bashed by Rose, but a test of faith. One more slap of those karate chops from Ohio. That's 4, and it's Roche to Orange Esports, and it's a GG from Tongfu. Orange absolutely outplaying them. Take game 1, 29-6.
Mushi was just so big that game. Orange so far ahead, and Tongfu just had no AoE at all to defend the base. And I think that's generally the big weakness. That's what Silencer just doesn't
Silencer
do.
and Nyx.
Yeah.
Great performance. That was really impressive by Orange. Tongfu, a lineup that if things get bad, they get really bad. So much pick-up potential. Orange Esports, we've seen them at times brilliant. At times they do fall apart in the mid-game. This was not one of those games, and they, to me, are looking like one of the scariest teams at the International 3. And with that being said, we're going to throw it back to James and the rest of the analysts.
Yeah, there we go. We're back. Yeah, scary indeed, and actually it's scary for Tong Fu, it seems, because they might not be able to get their rematch versus Na'Vi, but let's go to the other analysts at the panel and see what you thought of the game, because I've got my stuff, but of course I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I'm just very impressed with Orange. This was like a completely revitalized Orange that we saw. Sure enough, they played great during the day, but this game, wow. They just completely stormed Tong Fu. Mushi on the Sven, but the Darkseer is the key here. How he vacuumed them all together on top of a Stormbolt, the team play was just phenomenal. We had the Chen again, and the Bane played by Net, and those seem to be the core around Mushi, basically. Who seems to be picking whatever he wants to.
Yeah, this is what I had as well. It was the Puck, Sven and Darkseer combo in terms of being able to initiate and counter-initiate into fights. The Bane's obviously, as you mentioned, amazing at just holding someone solo out of the fight, and then Chen's just an amazing backup. Bruno, you got something to say?
I seem to remember another game that was very popular against Na'Vi. There was this team that was playing, I can't recall their name.
EG.
Okay, so you know what I'm going to say. Sven and Darkseer.
Yep.
Kind of a strong combination if you can pull it off. I think Orange has been on point there as well. He was telling me how strong the Darkseer was, but it requires a lot of good communication. And when you're getting into this point, there's lots of stress. Sometimes you're so focused into the game that you don't want to talk about anything. But if you look at this, I mean, when you see this team, Orange is playing so well with each other. We're going to see a perfect example right here. Look at how
here comes the vacuum into Stormbolt. This is ridiculously good.
Boom, and the wall and everything. This kind of combination. Of course, there was not a 2000 crit here like the other time, but they didn't need it. They just immediately killed 3 people, and after that, Banana just...
But in the past, we haven't really seen Rogue Knight being picked up without the support of Wisp. So this is like... It's a Sven strategy with the Darkseer, but there's no Wisp present.
Yeah, it was similar to the last game they played where they had Ursa without a Wisp too. I don't think I've seen that before. And, oh, actually, that's not true. Alliance did it versus Roshan, but it's still very, very unusual. And Orange is making these unusual strategies work very, very well. It's not even, like, close, these games.
Well, they're using Bane and Chen instead. They just don't care about the Wisp. And, like you were saying, they utilize it so very well that they can just set up everything. But I think the key here is the Darkseer. Yep. If Tong Fu removes the Darkseer, I think they can very well actually be able to fight.
Well, the one thing that interests me about the Darkseer and just how they played this and what I really like is the item choices on the Darkseer, but also the Puck and the Sven. For me, you saw the Darkseer go Blink and Mech. Obviously, Mech is what you're going to want. I believe it was the Darkseer that went Mech. It wasn't the Chen, right? Because the Chen was actually going for Cypher Vice later. Okay, let's just concentrate on the Blink Dagger since that's what I can confirm. Just being able to get perfect positioning into the team fights and be either initiate or back up your Puck. Because you have to think, if your Puck goes in and hits a 3-man coil, and you can get your Darkseer to follow up quickly with your Sven, then you actually have a chance for those combos. So I really like the Blink pickup for positioning. On the Puck especially, obviously you have Blink, but the second item, Yule Scepter, was so good. Versus a Storm Spirit or a Life Stealer, you can get yourself out of trouble, but more importantly, against a Silencer, you can still use your Yules to be able to, kind of save yourself with just a little bit of time, and then obviously your DS can back you up. And then Sven again with the BKB, obvious first choice item. If you get jumped, you want to be able to fight. You don't want to get locked down. And then AC is a little bit base pushy, and he could have gone for something a little bit later like a crit, but just the core items that Orange went for seem to have the perfect kind of combination to counter the Storm, the Life Stealer, and also the Silencer. So team fight wise, I was so impressed with the item choices and their positioning.
Yeah, I wasn't too particularly thrilled about the Silencer pick. I think Silencer's a good hero, but not in that sort of situation. He didn't really shut down the Puck that hard. Silencer's usually just absolutely destroyed a Puck, but with that Yule's pickup that you were talking about, he seemed to escape a lot of fights, but it didn't really offer them that much control in the team fights. It's very good to counter versus like a Blink RP, and then you wait a few seconds while they're stunned and they skewer back for like a good 5 seconds to disable. But versus like a quick vacuum Stormbolt combo, if they ever get that off, silence or no silence, people are going to die. He can still cleave, and there are usually going to be a wall drop right before, and there's going to be so much damage flying around that the silence is, the fight's too late to be saved at that point. Yeah,
and the Life Stealer had a pretty tough time in terms of man fighting. Life Stealer versus Sven, you really need that basher. He did get it. It came in a little bit too late low to make a big difference, but you're up against a Sven with like 40 plus armor.
Speaking of item builds, I'm not sure I completely agree with going Armlet into a Saints and Yasha when you desperately needed that basher. So maybe a bit of a communication. I don't know. I wouldn't have gone for the same
Yeah,
solution.
the items did come a little bit late. Even the Storm Spirit, it would have been great as long as they got a BKB earlier, because whenever you try and initiate as a Storm Spirit and you get puck silenced, you're dead. And if you get stunned by the by the Sven, you're dead. So that BKB, they did have it for the last fight, and they unfortunately did lose a little bit too far behind. But if they could have got some key items themselves a little bit earlier, they could have made a good play to actually win this game. Because skill-wise, they are very even, these two teams. You saw how hard it was for Orange to break the base.
They still had a lot of support from the Sven, even without the Wisp, which you usually just rely on the overcharge to protect them. They had the Chen heal, they had the Chen send back, they had defensive disrupt, they had so many things, or defensive sleep rather, to just try and protect them. And I mean, is Wisp like out now?
If looking at today, it definitely is.
Yeah,
2 losses and
he changed his
no
name.
need of it.
Yeah, he changed his name, and no one likes him anymore. His old identity was way better. Bruno, what have you got for us? We're going to go into game 2 as soon as the teams are ready, but anything that stood out or anything you think needs to change maybe for the team of Tongfu?
Well, Tongfu on the series that came before this, they lost the first game versus IG. Was it? No, was it IG? Am I correct? They lost against someone. It's too late. Sorry. And then they won the 2 next games, which is the important part that I wanted to drive.
Today, yeah.
Today,
Tongfu.
yeah, Tongfu. So I think that they can actually do that again, and I try to help them. So I'm checking the heroes that are already or still unbeaten in this main event. And for them to pick, they have Lina, which is 1-0. Slardar, played by Orange, also 1-0. There's Shaker, Invoker, and Dying, both 1-0. Or they can pick Pudge. What if Tongfu decides, okay, we can play Pudge as well. We like strength heroes, we like initiators. Why not?
I think they're saving the Pudge pick for Na'Vi.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
One can dream.
Yeah, looks like the game's actually just live now. So, any kind of predictions into game number 2? Do you think this is going to be a 2-0 to Orange, or?
Well, my prediction is ruined now. I thought Tongfu would take it 2-0. I still believe in Tongfu. 2-1 then.
But you're impressed by Orange.
Oh,
Ben.
definitely. I'm like completely in awe of what they just performed.
Ben?
I think Orange is going to take another one. They're just on a roll. They've been just completely crushing in the games that I've seen them play today.
Yeah, momentum is a big thing. Bruno, what have you got for us?
I said 2-1 Tongfu before, I'm saying 2-1 Orange now. Tongfu is going to take the next game.
Okay, well. Oh, by the way, I have to apologize to you. Everybody thinks I don't like you.
Really?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do...
Do you like me?
Yeah, well, you know, let's not go too far. All right? Like's a strong word. Tomorrow, I will wear something better than just a shirt.
Okay, wow.
Okay?
No shirt?
Just to prove to everybody. Even the Ursas thought I didn't like you.
Wow.
And I was quite scared because I didn't want to get ganked.
Be careful with that overpower.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Don't enrage
tomorrow...
them.
I'll win you back, Bruno. I'll win you back. Yeah, okay. Thank you for your predictions, guys. Let's go into game number 2. It's Tongfu versus Orange, and Tongfu need to bring it back to stay in the tournament. Over to the hall.
Orange versus Tongfu.
Welcome back to Battle Royale Hall. It's time for Game 2. Orange Esports versus Tongfu. Tongfu trailing 0-1. 1 game away from finishing at 4th place at the International 3. Orange Esports 1 game away from a much anticipated potential rematch with Na'Vi.
And I think if Na'Vi is waiting to see who they're facing up against, they do not want to face up against Orange Esports. All-time matches up very well against Na'Vi, and I think Orange is, the way that they've been playing this today, you said they were evolving. I mean, they're evolving fast.
We haven't even seen their final form yet. That's the scary part. It could be coming now. And on that note, we'll introduce the draft. Tongfu, respect to Extinct. I did notice the teams that remain in the International 3, if you actually look at them, Alliance, Na'Vi, Orange, Tongfu, and even IG before they got knocked out, all these teams play magnificent Chen. And Chen, we saw Na'Vi banning it, I think, in 1 game against the Alliance. It was either game, I believe it was game 2. We've seen Tongfu now losing to Orange's Chen. They banned it out. Chen is, I think, the #1 hero on the rise as of late. And Extinct gets respect here. Chen is banned out.
Yeah, Chen, well, they didn't give him the respect for the Visage. And I'm somewhat surprised that they did not actually go for it. I just say give him a Batrider. You take a Visage because of what, 78% win rate?
Extinct's Chen wins games. But when you see Batrider, you kind of froth at the mouth,
Yeah,
right? This
yeah.
hero, rarely does he slip through, and it's something where that's why we see Alliance getting bad a lot, because teams respect Admiral Bulldog's own Druid, they respect their ability to play Wisp, and so often those heroes get banned out. Then it leaves Batrider and company in the pool. So RNG Sports, they'll start game number 2 with a different draft. It's a Batrider first pick, Darkseer Visage, the quick reply from Tong Fu, and then Orange will respond with a Nyx Assassin. So great pick-off potential for Orange. They are a lineup that wants to hit level 6 on these heroes as quickly as possible. Tong Fu, Visage, and Darkseer, very strong laning stage for them.
Yeah, Nyx Assassin is just perfect for this secondary pick because it's a hero that's really good against Batrider. You pop the Spike Carapace and walk under the fire, and Batrider gets stunned for quite a bit. Really, really good against both Darkseer and Visage. These heroes are very mono-dependent. In a long team fight, Darkseer needs to cast multiple spells. His spells are very costly to start with, so you mono burn him once or twice, he's done. Visage, obviously, we know that he has a 4-second spammable Soul Assumption, so mono burning Visage is also good. So I think this is a perfect second pick for Orange Esport. Meanwhile, back to the bans here. A little bit of respect here, banning out Shadow Friend for Mushi. And there's a Spectre being banned out. And I think this is very smart because you do not want to give away Spectre and Darkseer. A lot of teams from the East really like to turn to Spectre, Darkseer when things are...
And I think Tong Fu, here we go. Anti-Mage comes out from Tong Fu. They banned out Shadow Demon as their second ban, and this is the new and revised draft system in the current version, where if you're second pick here, you get the first pick in the second stage, you get to make a ban and then make a pick. So they ban out Shadow Demon, they immediately snap up AM. How does Orange respond?
I mean, I don't think they have seen enough from Tong Fu to really angle it one way for another. Now, traditionally, Anti-Mage very weak to early game pushing strategy, so maybe that's something they could do against Tong Fu. But at the same time, Orange like to fight kind of frequently, and I think Anti-Mage is one of the best carry for that kind of playstyle. He's a hero that when things look a little bit awkward or a little bit dangerous, you could just blink away and TP to a different lane. So I think this is a very good defensive pick early on against Orange's playstyle. Let's see if Orange thinks they need to pick up a couple, let's say, hexes. Maybe you go for a Lion. We haven't seen them play in the past. Shadow Shaman, these are natural hex carriers. Obviously, you could go for Hex Spires, like your Nature's Prophet or your Puck and things of that as well.
Another option for Orange, and we saw this from them, I think if you go back a month, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months ago, they were running a lot of offensive Windrunner tri-lanes.
Yes.
Ohio as the farmer, and the main reason that you want to run these tri-lanes in the main situation where you run them is against a melee carry, usually a hard carry that you want to shut down early. So don't rule it out of the question that Ohio could go aggressive Chine with the Nyx +1, but they'll go for a waiver here, very elusive. And you look at Tong Fu, and they actually don't have a single reliable stun yet.
At least not yet. Right?
Not yet.
Basher on Anti-Mage is, I guess, the most reliable one, and that one's not going to come for a long time. But going back to your offensive tri-lane, you could definitely do it with the Weaver as well. And that power of his offensive tri-lane is you pick a very hard-to-kill hero, like Weaver, and even when your support roam off that tri-lane, he can still do things. He can still farm. He can still harass Anti-Mage. And I personally think that in this tournament, Orange has the best kind of your 4-5 support. They are just so good at roaming. They're so good at creating space for all three of the carries. I know Mushi, Ohio, KYXY, they get all the limelight, but the support players, let's forget about them because they are a very big part of Orange's successes so far.
Yeah, these two are definitely the sensations of Malaysia as of late. We'll see where Orange go because the other option for them is to go aggressive tri-lane but not run the Weaver there. So they could run a Weaver safe lane for perhaps for Mushi, a Batrider mid for KYXY, and then go with the Nyx Windrunner +1. Tong Fu do a Visage, and it's always dangerous to go aggressive trying against Visage, but I mean, if you get something like a Keeper of the Light, then suddenly tri-lane might be yours for the taking. So Tong Fu, they'll back off and they'll go for a Rubik. We've really seen this support rise as a response to Weaver in particular.
Yeah. At the same time, though, when you pick up support Visage and support Rubik, Tong Fu's lanes are done. Like, once you lock those lanes, they cannot rotate because what are you going to gank with the Visage and Rubik? They're not traditionally a good gankers. Anti-Mage, he's stuck on that one lane. Darkseer is stuck on the other lane. So Tong Fu, they got to make sure that whatever they last pick up here, the lanes have to be at least good enough to survive against Orange, because if you don't have good lanes, there's no second choice. There's no second option. Here comes a Bane, which is a lockdown hero designed to pick against Anti-Mage.
Yeah, they have a lot of single target lockdown now. You've got your Lasso, your Fiend's Grip, and as well as, of course, everything that Nyx Assassin brings to bear. Very elusive lineup, pretty survivable supports. Nyx Assassin has Carapace, Bane has the Brain Set. They're not easy to blow up, and they've got a lot of ways to run if Anti-Mage jumps them. Now Tong Fu will ban out a Nature's Prophet. This has been one of Ohio's go-tos in this tournament. He plays a much more kind of a martyr nature's Prophet. He'll sit in the off lane. We've seen Bulldog do this and quite a few others where you go there and you block the first 2 camps, but then Bulldog goes away around 1 minute and goes to jungle, gets a really fast Midas. Ohio, on the other hand, will stay there much longer. But the Prophet's ban, now RNG Sports banning out the Magnus. They don't want Tongfu to have massive late game superiority, so they remove that from the pool. Where are these 2 teams going with their last 2 picks?
I think Tongfu need to pick up a defensive mid that could transition to pretty gank. So I think Puck is a good one, but they're going to go with Dragon Knight. And again, it goes back to what I said. You got to make sure you do okay in your lanes. And what does Dragon Knight do against Batrider mid?